Hello, I'm Marta Wierzbowska-Kujda and I'm Chief Editor of Polish environmental daily Teraz Środowisko, and I'm very pleased to welcome Rasmus Erbe, Senior Vice President of Ørsted. And let's conversate about some wind news. Let's start with big news about four North Sea countries, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands and Belgium, which signed in May a declaration in Esbjerg to build together 150 gigawatts from offshore wind. What lays behind the concept of the green power plant of Europe, and what could be Ørsted's role in this project?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I'm very pleased to be here in Sedos today. Zooming in on the announcement in Esbjerg, the Esbjerg Declaration, I think we call it now. I think first of all, for me personally, it was a very big deal. It was a very big deal on the back of the crisis we are now in, also the energy crisis, to see the prime ministers of those four countries coming together behind a bold vision. What is of course very important now is that that vision is then followed by concrete action, short-term specific concrete action.
Very bold.
Yes, the whole notion of a green power plant, you can say, is that if you take some simple facts, Denmark has 3 times more space available at sea than Germany for offshore wind. Germany has 15 times more demand for green electricity than Denmark. Therefore, the fundamental thinking here is that you basically produce the power in the north and then you transport the power to where it's needed to power the German decarbonization. And I think what is also, and also the Netherlands and also Belgium. But I think what is important, if I may, since we are now today here in Poland, is to basically say that I have no reason to believe that you could not, to a very large extent, do the same in the Baltic Sea region.
Yes, and let's stay with this cooperation potential, because the Baltic Sea, with the potential of over 80 gigawatts, is said to be a second hub for Europe, along with the North Sea, as you said. And is there any need for more structured cooperation, international one, to make it happen? What could be Poland's role in such cooperation, and what synergies could it generate?
Yeah, synergies. Yeah. So take them. If I take them one by one. First of all, I was in Stettin actually 2 years ago, and witnessed the signing of the joint declaration of intent between all the Baltic Sea countries, including.
It was promising.
It was very, very promising. So including Poland, including Sweden, including Denmark, the Baltic states, and Commissioner Kadri Simson was also there on video. So I think if I were to be a little bit provocative, I would say that it's just about delivering on that, right? Because it was actually already done 2 years ago, before everything we are seeing now, and I find that very well done, basically.
So how would you encourage dissidents to realize this declaration?
Yes, so I think it's about going back, looking at that agreement and then say, okay, how do we bring it in to 2022? Because I think many of the fundamentals that are in place for the North Sea in terms of the need, or basically hybrid solutions as an example, the notion of bringing energy across borders at sea, we very much see that also for the Baltic Sea region. But what we also see is that if you want to make a true step change within offshore wind, it's about an open, transparent, collaborative dialogue between countries, between developers, and also between utilities and all of the above. And before you do that, you will not really be able to make the step changes that are required. So I think that would be the next step.
Yeah, and your role, Ørsted's role in it?
We would be, as always, very happy to chip in with what we believe we can bring to the table. We will not be able to do anything of this, even remotely by ourselves, nothing. But what we can do is bring our experience. We can bring our experience from what we have learned doing offshore wind now for 30 years across the world. So I think all we are hoping for, asking for a little bit, even if you will, is that we are allowed to bring that experience to the table. That is what we would like to bring.
And I know that Poland is very important, so maybe you can draw a broader picture. How important is Poland in Ørsted strategy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what did you do? And what are you going to do here?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Poland has huge potential for offshore wind. And that also goes for Ørsted in Poland. So there is no doubt that we believe that when we look at our European strategic footprint, that Poland is what we believe is a strategic market. And the reason for that is manifold. Some of them would be that the fundamentals for offshore wind are just really, really good. Another obvious example is that the supply chain, the Polish supply chain, is already today an integrated part of the global supply chain for offshore wind. So we are already very active here. And then also due to the physical location with Poland in the bottom, you can say, of the Baltic Sea region, it has the potential to be a hub for further development of offshore wind further up the Baltic Sea region. Those 3 points, I think, are very strong for everyone, also for Ørsted in Poland.
Okay, and can you tell us what did you do? Because I know that you have many plans for a kind of competence hub here. Yes. So maybe you can tell us.
So we were one of the first international developers here in Poland through our partnership with PGE that we are very pleased about. But both within that partnership, also within our partnership with CPAC and in our own right, we are making a lot of initiatives right now here in Poland. More specifically, you can mention the fact that we in Warsaw, in our headquarters, very recently made that an engineering hub for our global portfolio with a lot of work to follow. Another example is together with CPAC, that if we are fortunate to be allocated seabed lease in the upcoming round, we have a just transition fund where we will unlock 10 million euros of funding to basically to be used by coal miners who are now transforming into offshore wind. We have recently awarded a contract for our portfolio elsewhere in the world. I will not tell you exactly which one, to a Polish supplier, a very significant scope. So day by day we are bringing our experience but also local content to Poland.
Thank you for mentioning competences and just transition, because building new competences is a part of just transition, especially in Poland. And can you tell us how do you understand just transition and how do you see Ørsted's role in it?
Yes, it is very much about collaboration. And it is very much about education and also realizing that a lot of the capabilities are already here. So it's important to emphasize that when it comes to just transition and basically reskilling labor, the capabilities are already here in Poland. So for us, it's basically just about getting started, but also just getting it done. But also it requires investment. It requires also that international developers take responsibility and also invest in Poland. Not just say that they will, but actually walk the talk.
Okay, so I would like to talk more and more, but the time is pressing. So thank you very much, and let's stop with the message that just transition. There is no just transition without collaboration, cooperation, and competences. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was Rasmus Erboe, Senior Vice President of Ørsted in Poland, and Marta Wyszłowska-Kujda, teraz środowisko. Dziękuję.